Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Zama Dlamini, and if you are here for the first time, welcome. And if you're a returning subscriber, hey, how you doing? So I've been gone for a while. Okay, it's been 1 week of me not being there, and get really cool guys, but I am back and I am here with another video. So you're probably wondering where I'm filming. I'm finally filming in my room. Like I just needed my room to become what I wanted to be, and it's not what I wanted to be, but I think we can work with the space now. So yeah, another thing, so since I'm filming in my room, like my room is close to like a parking lot, a train station, everything. So you might hear trains, you might hear cars, you might hear everything, but let's just keep it here. Okay, so today's video I think is like one of the holy grail. Like every beauty YouTuber must do one of these videos because it's one of the most common things, and a lot of people ask about this. So I'm shooting a eyebrow tutorial, and like, you know, like for me personally, I feel like everyone should have freedom of creativity, especially when it comes to brows, because every human being has different brows. Like, let's just start there. So how I do my brows might not be the same as how you would do your brows or any other person would. So this is just a guideline on the products that I use and how I do my brows, but I don't think it's like a strict guideline of everyone must do their brows like this. And also, like, I've been doing my brows since 2015, I think, and definitely they've evolved. They have evolved. How I did them back then and how I do them now is completely different. The products I use and how I use them are all very different now. So yeah, like, you learn, you get used to the process, and you just keep evolving from it. And another thing that I just think is worth mentioning is the fact that you will not get perfect brows the first time you do them. You will have to give it time and, you know, keep practicing, maybe like do them when you're sitting at home and you're not going anywhere, and see how they, you know, get better as you do them. So yeah, so stay tuned.
Okay, so I decided to bring the camera a bit closer so you guys can be able to see everything properly. So first I am going to take a spoolie and I'm just going to brush all of my brow hairs to the well, brush them up so they all look good and they're all going in the same direction. And this just makes the process a lot easier. Also, if your brows are shaped, it makes doing your brows so much easier. So do shape your brows. I waxed mine for this video. Next, I am going to go in with the Makeup Revolution Duo Brow Definer in the color medium brown, and I'm just gonna draw on my brows using it. So what I first do is that I draw a line following the natural shape of my brow underneath my brow very lightly. You don't want to go too dark, but you just want to accentuate the natural shape of your brow. Then I'm going to do the same at the top and just draw a line following the natural shape of my brow. You'll notice that on this one I go a bit further at the top than my natural brow, and this is just to accentuate my arch because yeah, I don't have a very great natural arch. Then I'm just going to fill in the end. With this brow in particular, I usually don't fill in the middle of it because I feel like it gets a bit too dark, but I fill in the other side, you'll see shortly. So now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, brush the hairs up, and then take the brow definer, draw a line underneath the natural shape of the brow following the natural contour, and then do the same at the top. And then I'm going to fill this brow in the middle as well, and then I'm going to fill in the front as well. It all depends on how you want your brows to look. If you want them to be darker, you'll fill them in more. If you want them to be lighter, you'll fill in less. Then I'm going to take the other side of the brow definer and I'm just going to brush in all of the product, focusing mainly in the front because you want your brow transition to be as natural as possible, and then you just blend everything else in. I'll do the same on the other side, just brush everything in, make sure everything blends well with the natural hairs of your brow. So here I noticed that the one brow doesn't look very similar to the other one, so I'm going to try correct that, but you don't have to do this step. But if you feel like you need to correct your brows, do so and just work until they're the perfect shape that you want them to be. Generally brows don't look the same, so the best you can do is try to make them look as similar as possible. Chances are they'll just look like sisters and not twins. So next I'm going to take my Makeup Revolution concealer in the color C13. This concealer is very good. It's full coverage, and it just a little goes a long way. This shade is a bit too light for me, but it's really the best I could do in the circumstances. Then I'm going to take my concealer brush. A concealer brush is a flat brush, preferably one that is straight in the front, especially if you're a beginner, but this one that I'm using currently is not straight in the front. So now we're going to try clean up our brows. So I generally start in the middle of the brow and not at the beginning, because I feel like if I start at the beginning, usually there's a lot of product still on the brush, so it can actually mess up your brow. So I start at the end, work my way to in the middle, work my way to the end, and then go to the front. And when you get to the front, just extend the concealer beyond where the brow actually starts, just to create a natural gradient for the change and not just a harsh beginning for your brow. I then extend the concealer down to my eyelid to ensure that the blending is as seamless as possible. Also, this helps if you're going to be wearing any eyeshadow, and this acts as a primer for your eyeshadow. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. You start in the middle and work your way to the end, and then you go to the front and extend beyond the brow to ensure that there's a good gradient of a natural change between where the brow actually begins in your skin. And then I'm going to extend this down to my eyelid to ensure that there's a good seamless blend and my brows don't have halo hues around them. And then also if I'm wearing eyeshadow, this is going to help prime my eyes very well. You'll also notice that I extend the concealer almost onto my nose, and this just helps to have a clear defined area for the brow and not have my skin pop up in some areas or the natural color of my skin. Next I'm going to do the top. At the top I like to work in single strokes, and also I start at the end on this one and not in front. Single strokes just help define everything very well, and minimizes chances of mistakes. So I use single strokes, one in the back, one in the middle, and then another one in the front. By the time I get to the front, the brushes almost has very minimal product left on it, which is perfect for the front because you want it to look as natural as possible. Also at the top I extend the concealer beyond where the brow actually begins to create that natural changing gradient between your skin and the brow itself. Going to do the same on the other side, work in single strokes to minimize any mistakes happening. And usually most of the mistakes happen at the top because your hand is positioned very weird positions. So you work one stroke at the end, one stroke in the middle, and another one at the beginning. You can also do two strokes in the middle. It also works, but just work very seamlessly. Then I'm going to connect my concealer in the middle because obviously we don't want to look like we have a unibrow. And then I'm just touching up some areas that I feel like need some correcting. And then I'm going to just blend the harsh lines up, so that when I start blending, it's not too harsh. Right. Am I impressed? Yes, I am. So now I'm going to take my beauty blender. Since this concealer is so full coverage, it dries very quickly, so I have to use a damp beauty blender. I'd also recommend it for beginners. It really makes the blending process so much more easier. So I just use that to blend everything. Take your time when you're blending. Do not rush. Blending is a process. It takes a while, especially if you're a beginner and you want everything to look as natural as possible. So take your time when you're blending. and don't rush. While you're blending, you just want to make sure that you don't mess up the shape that you've already created for your brow. So just blend and try not go too close to your brow. Obviously for me it's a lot easier because I've been doing brows for so long, but for a beginner, take your time and work very seamlessly. Also taking care to blend the line that you created in the middle because you want your brows to transition well. Now I'm going to take my powder brush and I'm going to take my BBQ full coverage powder. This helps to set the concealer because I have very oily skin, and actually set the brow themselves because they get oily as well. So I just dab that on underneath my brow, and I'm going to dab it on the brow as well. Um, this helps just blend everything well as well with each other. You can use a kabuki brush for this as well instead of using a powder brush. I just couldn't find my kabuki brush, so I just settled for this powder brush. um, so this just blends everything, and you can see me dabbing onto the brow itself. Also with this process, take your time, do not rush. Practice really does make perfect. And also just like blend everything else around, make sure that everything is transitioning well. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video, and I hope it was helpful. Do like, comment, and subscribe, and share with your friends. And look out for my new video in the future. This is me, and that's you. Goodbye, and God bless.